Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Daily English Buddy.
Welcome back, guys. I am Alex, and today we are talking about one of the absolute most terrifying experiences you can ever have when you move to a new country.
And I am Justine. Yes, today we are talking about going to the salon and getting a haircut in English. But before we start, remember to grab today's free PDF study guide from the description. It has all the vocabulary we will teach you today.
And you absolutely need this vocabulary, because going to the hairdresser or the barber in your second language is a true survival situation. If you use the wrong word, you lose your hair.
It is so true. Think about it, Alex. When you go to a restaurant and you say the wrong word, maybe you get the wrong food. You eat it and it is gone. But a bad haircut? A bad haircut stays with you for months.
Exactly. The stakes are so high. Everyone looks at your hair. And I know this because during my first year living abroad in London, I went to a barber for a very basic haircut, and it ended in a complete and total disaster.
Oh, I absolutely have to hear this story. What were you trying to ask for?
Well, my hair was getting a little bit too long over my ears, so I walked into a local barber shop. I just wanted a trim. For our B1 listeners, a trim is a very small, basic haircut. You don't change the style at all.
Right, you just cut a little bit of hair to make it look neat and healthy. A trim is the safest thing you can possibly ask for.
Exactly. It should be safe. But my spoken English was terrible back then. I sat in the big leather chair, the barber put the cape around my neck, and he asked, "What are we doing today, mate?"
A very normal question. And what happened?
I completely panicked. My mind went blank. I forgot the word trim. I wanted to say something natural like, take a little bit off the top.
Okay, take a little bit off is a fantastic natural phrase. But I have a feeling you did not say that.
No, I did not. I looked him directly in the eye, and with complete confidence, I said, "Take it all off."
No, Alex! You told the barber to take it all off?
I mixed up the vocabulary. I thought I was saying, take it off the top. But before I could correct myself, I heard the sound of the electric clippers. Bzzz. He went right down the middle of my head.
Oh my goodness! Once they make that first cut down the middle, you cannot stop them. There is no going back.
Exactly. I just had to sit there in silence for 20 minutes while he shaved my entire head. He gave me a buzz cut.
A buzz cut. Listeners, a buzz cut is when your hair is shaved very, very short using an electric machine, like a soldier in the military.
I looked like an egg. And the worst part is, it was November. I had no hair for the whole winter. My head was freezing cold. I had to go buy a winter hat immediately after leaving the shop.
That is so tragic. But it is the perfect example of why you need to know exact salon vocabulary. If you say the wrong thing, you get an egghead.
It is true. But Justine, I think women's salons are actually even worse, right? The vocabulary for women's hair is so much more complicated than men's hair.
Oh, it is a complete nightmare. You have to know about layers and volume and face framing angles. But honestly, my biggest salon disaster wasn't even about complex technical vocabulary.
Really? What was it about then?
It was a massive cultural difference between British English and American English. Those regional differences will always trap you.
Oh, regional differences are dangerous. Tell us the story.
So, I was also living in London at the time. I went to a very nice, very quiet, very expensive British salon. There was soft music playing. I wanted to cut the front part of my hair so it rested straight across my forehead.
Okay, I know this one. In British English, that hair that covers your forehead is called a fringe.
Yes, a fringe. But you have to remember, I learned American English in school. And in American English, that specific hairstyle is called bangs.
Oh no, bangs. Like the loud sound of an explosion. Bang!
Yes, exactly. So I sat in the chair, and the very polite British hairdresser asked me what I wanted to do today. I threw my hands up in the air excitedly and shouted, "I want some huge bangs! Give me a big bang right in the front."
You walked into a quiet, luxury British salon and demanded huge bangs?
Yes, the poor hairdresser looked absolutely terrified. She took a step back from the chair. She had no idea what I was talking about. I think she thought I wanted to blow up the salon.
Give me a big bang right in the front. That is the funniest thing I have ever heard.
Half the people in the room stopped talking and just stared at me. I was so confused until a younger stylist came over and whispered, "I think she means a fringe." I was so embarrassed.
That is incredible. Fringe in the UK, bangs in the US. That is a critical vocabulary lesson for our B1 learners. Okay, let's actually save our listeners from these terrible disasters and teach them the phrases they actually need.
Perfect idea. Let's start with the most common problem, length. When the hairdresser asks how much hair you want to cut, you should always be very specific. Do not just say a little bit.
Exactly. Do not say a little bit. A little bit to you might mean 1 single centimeter, but to a creative hairdresser, a little bit might mean 10 centimeters. You will cry.
The best and safest phrase to use is just an inch, please.
Right. Even if you use the metric system in your home country, just an inch is the universal English phrase in salons for do not cut too much. An inch is about 2.5 centimeters.
And what if you have long hair and the very ends of your hair are dry, damaged, and breaking into 2 pieces?
Ah, those are called split ends. You should say, I just need a trim to get rid of my split ends.
That is a perfect, natural sentence. Now, Alex, what if your hair is very heavy and thick, and you want it to feel lighter for the summer, but you do not want it to be shorter?
That is a great question. You use the phrase, can you thin it out? Thinning it out means the hairdresser will use special scissors to remove some volume, making your hair lighter without changing the length.
Can you thin it out? Beautiful. And what if you don't want your hair to be totally straight and flat? You want different lengths to give it some style and bounce.
Then you ask for layers. You say, I would like some long layers, please. That gives your hair movement.
Excellent. Now, what about washing and styling? Because a salon visit isn't just about scissors.
Very true. Often the receptionist will ask you, would you like a wash, cut, and blow dry?
A wash is obviously shampoo and conditioner. A cut is the haircut. And a blow dry means they will use a hot hairdryer and a brush to style your hair perfectly before you leave.
A blow dry is the best part. And while they are cutting, they might ask you about your parting. They will say, where do you part your hair?
Your parting is the line on your head where your hair separates. You can say, I have a middle part, or I part it on the left side.
And finally, if you want to change the color of your hair, you ask to dye it. D-Y-E. I want to dye my hair brown. If you just want a few bright pieces of color, you ask for highlights.
Highlights are very popular. But if you already dye your hair and your natural color is growing back near your skin, you ask them to do my roots. The roots are the hair closest to your head.
Okay, those vocabulary words are fantastic. But wait, we have to talk about the number one grammar mistake that B1 learners make when talking about haircuts. It happens all the time.
Oh no, I know exactly what you are going to say. You mean the I cut my hair mistake.
Yes. Listeners, please pay close attention. If you walk into your office on Monday morning and say to your colleagues, "I cut my hair yesterday," native English speakers will look at you very strangely. Why?
Because saying I cut my hair means you literally stood in your bathroom in front of a mirror, holding scissors, and you did it yourself.
Exactly. In English, if you pay a professional person to do a service for you, you cannot say that you did the action. You must use a passive structure.
So instead of I cut my hair, you must say I got a haircut or I had my haircut.
I got a haircut is the absolute most natural, common way to say it. Wow, Alex, you look different. Thanks, I got a haircut. It is a tiny grammatical difference, but it completely changes the picture in someone's head.
And speaking of grammar pictures, we have to mention the uncountable rule. This is another classic B1 trap.
Oh yes, the plural hair mistake.
In English, the hair on your head is considered an uncountable noun. It is one big group. So you say, my hair is getting long. You never say, my hairs are getting long.
Right. If you say my hairs, native speakers picture individual, single pieces of hair lying on the floor or in the sink. It sounds really gross.
So remember, my hair is beautiful, not my hairs are beautiful. And I got a haircut, not I cut my hair.
Okay, Justine, I think our listeners have learned enough rules for today. Let's test their memory. Let's do a rapid-fire buddy quiz. Listeners, play along with us. Shout the answers at your phone.
I love the quiz. Bring it on, Alex. Put me on the spot.
Question 1. If you only want to cut a very, very small amount of hair just to make it healthy, what do you ask for?
3 seconds to guess. You ask for a trim.
Correct. Question 2. What do British people call the hair that hangs over your forehead?
Oh, I will never forget this one. In the UK, that is a fringe. But if you are in America, you ask for bangs.
Exactly. Question 3. If your hair is too heavy and you want the barber to remove volume without changing the length, what phrase do you use?
You ask them to thin it out.
Perfect. Final question. If a man asks the barber to completely shave his head with electric clippers, what is that called?
That is called a buzz cut. And it is exactly what you accidentally asked for, Alex.
Yes, it is. A freezing cold buzz cut. Don't make my mistake, guys. Learn the vocabulary.
And if our listeners want to practice these words, Do not forget to download the free PDF study guide. The link is right there in the description box. It has all the vocabulary, the cultural differences, and the grammar rules written down for you.
Yes, grab the PDF. We read every single comment, so head down below and tell us. Have you ever had a terrible haircut in another country? Did you accidentally ask for a buzz cut like me?
I really hope he is the only one. And please subscribe to our channel for daily English lessons. We love helping you improve.
Thank you so much for joining us on Daily English Buddy. Keep practicing, be careful with the scissors, and we will see you next time.
Bye everyone. See you tomorrow.